Yes, hello guys. Sunday evening, and I will say this though, I have slept like a baby for the past 2 days, 8 hours straight. Beautiful, beautiful. That's been a pretty damn long time since I've done that. So Sunday evening, and what do we have to look at? Yes, I have a bit of it's a concept that I've done before, and it did get a lot of very good feedback. So here we are, we're doing it again, looking at different uranium miners in comparison to the Sprout Physical Uranium Trust, the U.UN. And there are a lot of interesting long-term. We're looking at the weekly here, so we're looking at many years, worth of chart patterns here. And that, in my personal opinion, most of them, they look bullish. They haven't broken the up to the upside again here. But again, overall, you will see in a moment that I think we are in for some, hopefully, a pretty hectic movement to the upside again if we can get these confirmations in these ratios. And yeah, as always, guys, like, subscribe, and soon I will be moving, the paid content to Substack. Yes, I've been saying this for like a week or two now, but I will definitely have it finished here very, very shortly. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. Yeah, here we are. Good. Let's see here. I just messed it up a bit here. Good. Here we are. So yes, uranium miners, I have found a few, roughly 10, 11, 12 over here. Again, there are many more to look at, but these were the ones that I could find from last videos that made sense to show here. First off, I want to show you the URNM against the U.UN. You get a bit of a different setup or chart. If you look, normally I look at the URNM against the U.UN. I will say this, that maybe the other ratio looks a tiny bit better, but again, we're looking at everything in relation to the U.UN. These broad physical. So this chart here, in my view, again, you can see this is the long-term one. This goes back to the inception of the URNM, so roughly 4 years. And basically here we had, 2020, late 2020, the uranium miners started to break out heavily, or to start that big move up that they had. Basically, we came above the IPO high, bull flag, retesting, and then boom, off we went. And then obviously we had that peak there in November 2021. And actually here, I think it was roughly around here, that's when, U.UN got taken over by the Sprout Physical Uranium Trust, and then you had that big spike there in the ratio and in all the miners as well. And ever since, we have just been coming down, sliding, and now we're getting a bit of a reaction here of that previous support there, the IPO level. So hopefully this is, we don't get lower, and we are back to the previous levels where we started last time with the big move up here. This is the upper, trend line there is kind of perfect, more or less. But the lower is a bit iffy because there's a lot of things going on. But I have made it here, so we have that low, and the final low, hopefully. So again, here, it could be that we're in for a move, and that would be quite substantial to finally, get something moving here in the overall miners against the Sprout Physical. With that said, we're looking at individual miners right now in relation to the U.UN. Here we have FUU. Again, FUU is a small company, but I want to show you that from a pure technical setup, this is very, very bullish, insanely bullish. If this was a stock, you would be buying this retest right here. Again, we have the long term here, 2013, 17, 2021, excuse me, and then we had the breakout here actually later in November 2022. So what's happening here in my view? We have, in my view, right here, actually this should be a blue because it's a neckline in my view. So we have this left shoulder, kind of iffy because normally you would want it to be there. But again, I will still call it somewhat of a M bottom Ideally, you would want it to tag there. Clearly, we didn't get it. And then we are actually trying to make the right shoulder right over here. And whoops, it got lost again. There it is. Good. Okay. So again, here we did break out heavily here. Very, very sharp move. And then ever since drifting away, first low, second low, third low with the retest. Lovely. And now we are looking for that breakout there. This is, in my view, the textbook breakout retest kind of scenario, right? With one low, two lows, three impulse lows, and then usually we go higher. So look for that break here of this triangle, this bull flag. And FUU is really back in the game heavily. And if you are to measure, you know, here, this is just on the fly, you can actually see that we are actually in for quite a move if this pattern holds true. We're going to 0.23 in the ratio, and now we are way lower at 0.015. So that's a 10x plus in relation to basically the uranium spot price, basically, but U.UN. Very, very good setup here again. It all means comes down to this, in my view. If we can get this break here, boom, then in my view, neckline, bit of a triple, and then higher we go. Looks really, really bullish. This actually looks kind of the, if you look at the mega uranium chart by itself, kind of similar, by the way. DML, Denison, also somewhat of a fan favorite. You know, many people are invested in Denison. Look at that over here, the previous bull market, and then boom, away we go. Ever since we actually formed a bit of a decent pattern here. I like the symmetry, quite nice. And then we actually had the big breakout here, and now we are coiling up here. To some degree, you can see we are actually trying to break out here. I will not, yes, let's just move it down here. Maybe it's a bit too early to call it a breakout. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's not a breakout yet. By the way, I'm using Heikin-Ashi candles here because I think it's a bit better for you as a visual to see, you know, the patterns, because yeah, basically it gives a better visual. You can see here we're basically tagging that line starting from there, and then right now massive move up, sideways action. I think this looks like it wants to go. I really, really do think that this one is going up for the next move up. And the first target is always, the first big target in my view, is more or less always the flagpole high. So right now we are at 0.09, and we could easily double here. And then we have the flagpole. Again, it points to, whoops, excuse me. It points to, you know, a decent size higher, which basically, funny enough, goes back to the waterfall level over here when everything started to collapse. Nice symmetry, actually. I didn't see that until now, so. But again, I think this looks incredibly bullish. If this was a stock, I would be highly interested in what's happening here over the next few weeks, right down here in this apex. Good. EFR. This is energy fuels. Energy fuels. It is actually one of the stocks that I have somewhat of a big position in, and it has actually underperformed relative to others. So not ideal from that point of view. Also here, we have that first mega drop there, big move up, one more, and then the final March 2022 low there. So I would argue that we also could actually add a line across there to have this big pattern right here. There it is, the highs, beautiful, almost touching, obviously, but then came the big breakout here. Oops. And then I want to zoom in here if I can if I can do it properly. Usually I would like to have this high here as the end point, as the starting point. But again, I find it a bit more, the pattern here makes more sense compared to up here, because where are you going to put it? Not ideal there. But again, we can move it down to here. And then you have it. This is a, you know, this was to look very, very good. And then you can see the collapse there. So again, we didn't get the breakout from this triangle. However, we did, in my view, did like a capitulation move down here into some big supports. We have this internal orange there. I want to remove a lot of these actually, so you don't get confused. Bear with me here 1 second. Yes. So we had that overall bigger bad boy coming down here. And then we had an internal break right there as well, connecting the lows there. So this is also a fractal. Breaking out, basically, retesting that big breakout line going back 10 years. Potentially, that could be a bottom. Again, we have a lot of momentum coming down here, but we're also insanely oversold in the ratio up there. Therefore, it does needs a bit of more time here to digest this massive move down. Again, the underperformance there, and people are getting a bit tired of energy fuels, understandable, because it has done very poorly, even though it is up still many 100% from the March 2020 lows. But in relation to the spot price, clearly it hasn't done as well. But I have some, I wouldn't say hopes, but I did post some charts regarding FUU, and I think it is still one of the, if you look at the individual stock, it actually looks really, really good still long term. Even though short term here, not the best kind of setup here. Next one is Laramide Resources. Again, first off, guys, you know it, the golden trend line, boom, boom, boom. Three touches, and also here, looking at the shorter term, this is a bit more textbook in my view. This looks very much like the mega uranium chart. Go check it out, by the way. Left shoulder, head, double head, right shoulder. That is my view here. So this to me looks incredibly intriguing at this point in time, with the neckline being up here. And again, with what I think is the fourth touch of that golden trend line. And usually on the fourth or 4.5, depending, if you get a bit of a ripple there, then we break a 20-year long trend line, and we will target the neckline, and then in my view, we will go beyond. This is overall one of the better ratio setups that there is, if you're looking at it from a long-term view. And you can still see here the stock in relation to the spot price. It's very cheap. Yes, can it get cheaper? Of course it can. But again, in my view, this is the right shoulder, and usually they cannot go down to these levels here. Obviously, you have the left shoulder here. So you can see big level coming through there. If you want to add a horizontal, you can see it there, big level. You can see all the interactions coming in. So in my view, getting above here, I think that's the bottom. We can zoom in so you can see it a bit more better. We want to zoom in here. Basically, we're coming with that level coming across here. You can see that we're trying to break through. So overall, I really, really enjoy this ratio with Laramide against the U.UN. It looks really, really good. Again, the big tests. Again, I'm not saying that it is 100% sure that this is what we're going to get. But again, my take is we break out, we test it, whipple into the neckline, and then depending on how long time we need, then from there we can go on. Looks really, really good. ISO has only been live for roughly 8 years. Not that of a complex chart, but again, there is still some takeaways. Massive level here. You can see a lot of stuff going on here at that ratio level. Big breakout here again in 2020, a bit earlier than the others, because most of the miners actually broke out big time October, November. This one broke out two months before. Massive move up here, broke out previous IPO high. Again, nice little bull flag there into the retest, and then we came up, didn't come as far, and then the rest is history, basically. Look, that's where we are. So basically, this is one big bull flag here in the making. We just want to wait for the break to get above here. And ideally, we want to confirm above the IPO high, because it's actually a very important level here. If we want to add a level across there, you can see just how often it gets tagged and rejected. So 0.2 in this ratio in ISO against U.UN is a big level to get through. But right now we are bull flagging. That is good. But again, we need the confirmation to get going. big support if we get down to here. Do we get there? I don't think so, but again, anything is possible. But that would be, you know, roughly a 50% drop in the ratio. So yeah, there it is. You could also argue that you needed to move it there to there, but again, usually I would like to have these, you know, lows with me there. So it's better to do like this, in my opinion. Yeah. Next one, UEC. Bit of a weird chart to compare to a lot of the others that we've been looking at, because UEC has actually performed quite well in relation to the spot price. We do have this. I want to make a better line there. So depending on how you want to put it, maybe there, and then you connect the highs here. Beautiful. Look at it, guys. Fantastic. You can see the connections here. A lot of stuff going on there. Finally, we break here. Oh, I want to show you. Finally, we break here again, late 2020. Retesting, beautiful. And then we are doing a lot of volatility. And ever since, we've had this kind of a bull flag here with these highs up here. Let's see if we can add and connect these. You can see here we are basically breaking out as well. So right now we are bullish consolidation here for like the past 6 months or so, and we are in the upper, you know, price with relation to the bull flag and this bad boy going down there. This looks again like UEC if we zoom out here. 1, 2, a lot of stuff going on here. I think if we get to there, if this bull flag breaks up there, it is going to break out big time, and then it will resolve this entire pattern here. So that is really, really good. But you can see it's a bit messy, but there is still, in my view, order to all the, in quote, noise that we see here on this chart. And I'm also adding a lot of noise here with all my fantastic drawings, I can see. But again, here, UEC has actually done really, really well. No doubt about it here. And this bold consolidation here, in my view, favors a massive move to the upside. Again, we need confirmation and all that good stuff, blah, blah, I know, but still, it looks decent. Decent, to say the least. Mega here. Again, overall, the mega chart from a long-term perspective looks really, really good. Basically, if you look up the mega chart, the big bottoming pattern that we have seen in mega is like this, with a neckline across here. And now we have broken out, and now we're coming back down. And we are basically playing with that neckline. In relation to the U.UN golden trend line, all the way down, you can see 1, 2, 3. Basically a bit of a retest there, a bit of a deep one. And then we came all the way up to these two highs here, tagged it, and then we're basically within this triangle right there. Very well defined in my view. So what is going on now? Basically, we touched the green uptrend there, and this is the one to hold. This is the one you want to hold. As long as we hold this, it's actually not looking as bad. Again, here we have the upper here, so it's a pretty well-defined triangle. And if you were to do, you know, some sort of Elliott wave, maybe you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then maybe we go away. But again, this is a bit iffy, and we cannot, in my view, anything that happens in here is basically noise for now. We want to get back above, and ideally we want to take out this horizontal level as well. Then it is full-on bull mode if we can get, you know, into the 0.03 but firstly above 0.025. Then it looks incredibly well for mega uranium in this ratio, meaning mega outperforms spot price big time. But there is some way to go until we get there. If we get there, obviously, we don't know. But big compression coming in here within these green lines, and that's basically what to look for. UROY, similar-ish, and yet not still, you know, underperforming big time-ish compared to the spot price, same as energy fuels in my view. A bit of history here, massive topping pattern here. Inverted head and shoulders, breaking down, retesting a few times, and then the target was reached right around here. that measured move down to here, roughly 0.1 in the ratio. And before that, we've actually somewhat of a defined, falling wedge-ish. I mean, it's not as sharp, but again, it is more like a channel with a bit of an angle in towards each other. So again, here, what we are basically waiting for, in my view, very simply, we want to break this one here to hopefully have, a move to go higher. We are down here. This was actually the previous bull market when everything just went sideways, up, and we're actually below there. So it's not ideal that we see this underperformance by a uranium stock, basically getting below the previous cluster there when the stock started to outperform, and we're now down here. So we're getting into the next cluster here, and yeah, let's see where it takes us really. But again, we do have some sort of 1, 2, 3. So I think we're close to a low, but again, the confirmation is to clear this formation right there. That should be basically anything in between is basically noise until we break it. Sky Harbor, also a smaller stock in relation to the others. Big breakdown here in 2010. That was basically, this is very, very, very bad from any technical analysis point of view. And then we came in against, and we started to form a big ceiling roughly here at 0.05 to up to here. But this green ceiling here should actually be red because it is resistance, but let's leave it at that. And you can see here again, basically every time we get up to that green box there, it's getting rejected. Similar, some sort of iffy, bottoming pattern there. It's not the most pretty ones. There are way prettier pictures than this one here, but again, it is valid. But what is actually very, very, I'll say it again, very well defined is this last one here, this falling wedge coming in there. Similar, you want to wait for the break up from this falling wedge at some point in time. Then it's game on again for Sky Harbor. Do mind that this is pretty sharp downwards. So again, typically you need some sort of sideways action here or anything else before we have that big move to the upside. But overall, I think this is a big bottoming pattern going in, and we could be on the premises here of this last move up to that zone, and then usually you go higher. Usually, I say, it's not perfect. I would have preferred these highs to be, roughly here instead of up there, but you cannot get it perfect every time. NXE, definitely one of the best performing uranium stocks that there is. Basically, it is not at the highs, but it's when you look at the others that we have just been looking at, this one is holding up a lot better than the previous ones. Big move here again in the ratio, not in the stock didn't do as good, I think, if I remember correctly. But again, here massive move up there, big consolidation again, breaking out here March 2020. Then this green uptrend formed, massive move up here, and now we zoom in. Now we basically zoom in. You can see here we actually broke down from the green uptrend. That's not ideal, and now basically we are right here. And why is this important? This is a retest of the green uptrend. However, we are also within this sideways price action here. I think this is a massive false breakdown. Maybe I'm too biased, I don't know. But usually when you see a retest that goes all the way up to the previous highs, it's going higher. If we have had it here, it would have been a bit different, but we are basically at the highs for the past 2 years or so. And I think this tiny structure here, it is going to break out there. If we get above, in my view, it is stunningly bullish for NXE, next gen, if we do this kind of thing here. But again, it could also be that the retest holds or it confirms and you suddenly start to roll over. And then is it game over? I don't know, but that's pretty damn nasty if you start to see let's zoom out. If you start to see this kind of move down here, below this green support, now resistance. Last but not least, Kazatomprom. Very difficult chart in my view to get any, grasp off here, but I've been trying to do my best. It's a bit of a messy one. We do have, again, it's not the perfect, squeeze that we have, because usually if we had a touch there instead, and here, yes, then it would have been very, very good. But again, the upper one, I'm not totally satisfied with, but it is what it is. But here, in my view, we could have some sort of Vikov accumulation here. But again, then we would have preferred this one to be below there. Then it would have been perfect. So bit of an imperfect chart again for Kazatomprom. So I don't know exactly what to make of it, other than basically we are, at the lower end of the ratio where the stock is getting cheap in relation to the spot price. Again, overall iffy pattern. I don't know what to do with it really. So I will not get into any details or say anything that could potentially come, because it is a bit difficult to do. And again, if I have this that I always go by, if in doubt, it is a no, meaning I'm very uncertain what's happening here. I have some ideas, but again, it's a bit iffy, so I will not do anything, project anything or anything else to give any false, hope going into this. There are some structures, but again, they're a bit of half complete. So yeah, let's see where it ends up. But definitely getting above that green resistance now is a start, I guess. But yeah, not the best, not the best. That's it. A long video, but I hope you enjoy it. Last time we got pretty good reviews, and again, I could have picked more stocks or less or different ones. I just took some of those from the previous video and looked at them once again here. I think last time we did it in relation to the uranium spot price, and this time we did it in relation to the U.UN. It's a bit different, but yet still somewhat similar. That's it, guys. Have a great Sunday, and we will see what next week brings for this lovely uranium market. It's hated and it is beloved. So yeah, we will see what it brings. Have a great day, guys. Bye.